Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Sun Journal Sports Talk here at the Sun Media Group. I'm Justin Pelletier, joined here by Randy Whitehouse and Kalle Oakes. We are here to hopefully break down the Class A, Eastern Class A basketball tournament coming up here this week. And any conversation in Eastern Class A this year has got to start over in Auburn with Edward Little. Just talk a little bit about Edward Little, and it seems like we've been here before.
Yeah, we've been here before. Just 2 years ago, Edward went into the tournament as the #1 seed, undefeated. A lot of people are hoping that history repeats itself outside of this area. I don't think it's going to happen. That team got eliminated in the quarterfinals. I don't see that happening. This is by far a more complete Edward Little team. They still have the best player in the tournament going in, but they have much more talent surrounding him, much more balance surrounding him, and I think they're certainly the prohibitive favorite.
Yeah, I think another huge difference is they're playing a known quantity in the quarterfinals. They're not dealing with someone like Hamden Academy who they haven't seen, who throws some funky defensive stuff at you. They're playing a Mount Ararat team they've beaten twice, relatively convincing fashion. Ararat played well, especially in the first game that I happened to see, but as Randy said, the supporting cast, the thing about Edward Little is they're just so athletic at all 5 positions on the floor and so much bigger and stronger than a lot of their opponents, and they've just been on a roll like a train going downhill.
They also have some sparks coming off the bench, Dominic Bailey and Bo Leary, something they didn't have a couple years ago. So if things get a little bit stagnant with the first unit, they can just bring those guys in, and Bo Leary will get to work on the boards, and Dominic Bailey will get to work on defense and in transition, and really get them running. They like to run. They're a big team, but they like to run with the basketball, and that gets them some easy points. And they don't tend to get into the funks that they used to.
You know, they talk a lot about Corey Terrio, but Jimbo Philbrook has had a great year. I mean, just he's a double-double waiting to happen every time he's on the floor, and you know, EL's not going to get out-rebounded. And that's something you know, and that's something that can kill you in the tournament if you do. So yeah, that's something they got going for.
Earlier on in the season, we talked about Edward Little, certainly, but another team that was in the conversation as one of the better teams in Eastern A was Mount Blue.
And the thing I like about Mount Blue is their draw in this tournament. They've had some ups and downs, but I can see them getting to the final in their bracket. And the thing that they have going for them, you know, EL's calling card is their size and their athleticism. Mount Blue is definitely their backcourt, the experience with Sawyer and Russell.
One thing that I saw last night, I saw their game against Leavitt in the prelim, and the freshman Cam Senek had a big game, and that's something they need, is that presence in the paint to help with Russell and Sawyer. Both those guys are having off shooting nights, but Senek was able to get some points in the paint, and they need that kind of balance.
Ryan Backus gives them some rebounding and some scoring in the front court as well, so they're not completely a guard-oriented team. It's like I said, that side of the bracket's a little kinder. You know, EL's got to, if they get through Mount Ararat's got to play either Bangor or Hamden, and we know there's a lot of history with both of those schools against EL. So it's going to be a chore for the Eddies to get into the final, whereas Mount Blue plays Morse in the first round, and I think maybe the perception is that Mount Blue's played the tougher schedule in the north. So we'll see.
I was going to ask you guys about Morse, because Morse is one of those teams that gave Edward Little problems.
Oh, they beat them
at one point this season. So where do the shipbuilders fit into all this? Do you think, I mean, certainly with the Mount Blue matchup, that makes it a little tougher.
I saw round 2 of EL Morse, and it wasn't close. EL could have won that game even more convincingly than they did if they'd hit a few free throws. And that's another factor you got to look at the tournament. But you know, Morse has Alonzo James, who's a nice player. Key can get hot and score 25 or 30 a night, and Cheney on the inside. So they've got the high-low combination that can give other teams fits. They haven't played as well in the second half as they did in the first half of the season. I think the schedule got a little bit tougher, and the expectations got a little bit higher. We'll see how it goes in Augusta.
Yeah, I saw round 1 of that, and Morse did beat them in Auburn. And Alex Key went off, had a tremendous game. He's certainly a matchup problem for any team, especially Edward Little, but they also have Ryan Cheney, who can match up with their front court a bit. I don't know if they quite have the depth to really, I mean, to even get by Mount Blue. I'm picking the upset in that game. So, but another team out of that bracket is Brewer. They've played Edward Little 3 times now. They beat them once up to Brewer. Got blown out the last 2 times, but they're the kind of team that can run with Edward Little. They obviously don't have the size to match up, but they have a lot of shooters. If they have a good shooting night, they can hang with any team in the whole tournament.
So it really becomes a dichotomy of the northern part of the KVAC versus the southern part of the KVAC in this
And
whole
the
thing.
northern part is
just the way the
dominating.
brackets work
Yes,
out.
and that's been the talk for 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, the northern part has dominated this decade. It's been basically Bangor and Hamden coming out of the Eastern A for all this decade, and it's I think maybe it's time for the balance of power to switch a little bit.
10 words or less, guys. Who's coming out of the bracket?
Mount Blue over Bangor in the final.
I'm not going out on that one. Edward Little is playing the best basketball in Eastern A now, and I just think that they're going to continue that. I think they feel like they've got something to prove in this tournament, and they're the most complete team. I think
The Eddies would not know how to function if I didn't do something to fire them up before the tournament.
Thank you very much, guys, for Kalle Oakes and Randy Whitehouse. I'm Justin Pelletier for Sun Journal Sports Talk here at the Sun Media Group. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great day.